Hi, everyone. Before we start, can I have a quick audio check in the chat box, please? Is my voice audible? Okay, thank you so much. Yes. So I welcome you all to this session on CICD pipeline in Azure DevOps. My name is Sneha and I am community manager at Whizlabs. So before we go ahead, let me first introduce you all to our speaker for the day. So Saurav Raghuvanshi is here. Saurav, could you switch on your video, please? Yes, hi. Okay, so Saurav is currently working with Microsoft and he is also Azure Dev Lead for Azure Developer Community India, and he loves to contribute in the community. He is 5 times certified in Microsoft Azure, and his most recent certification is Microsoft Certified DevOps Engineer Expert. So I think we all have a great deal to learn from Saurav, and it's going to be an amazing session, I'm sure. So thank you so much, Saurav, for getting on board with Whizlabs for this session. And
Thank you for inviting.
Yes, we also have Mayank and Sunil with us as panelists. Mayank and Sunil are from Whizlabs products team, and since you all must be having a lot of questions during this entire session, so Mayank and Sunil will also be helping you clear your doubts. Okay. Now, as you can see, there are two things on your in the footer of your Zoom screen. One is chat box, and then there is Q&A section as well. So if you have any doubts regarding Saurav's presentation, if you come across any doubt related to a particular topic, please put your questions in the Q&A section, not in the chat box, because it's difficult to track questions over there. So it would be helpful if you put your queries in the Q&A section, so that we are able to answer them all. Okay. So if you have any difficulties during the session, do let us know. We'll try to rectify them. Okay, have a good time, everyone. And Saurav, over to you.
Thank you, Sneha. And thank you, everyone, for joining in. So Sneha has already introduced me, so there is no need for that. Let me just share my screen so that we can start. Sneha, can you confirm one? Is my presentation visible?
Yes, Saurav, it is.
Okay, thank you. So before starting the session, I have just one request, and I must say it's a rule that I really interested to interact with the humans. So to be a human, we must need that. We must be interactive, right? So to do that, I think that we must ask questions, discuss the things so that everyone can learn. And maybe the question that you have, that question has been for other candidates also. So please come forward and ask your question so that we can discuss, and the discussion is quite good. I can assure that. So that is the only thing that I request with all you. So let's start with the session. So the session topic is, as you all know, is CI/CD pipeline with Azure DevOps. So the first question that is this is about me. So Sneha has already introduced me. So if you want, you can connect me on social media platform for any question or anything. Or if you have any suggestion, what session you want to hear me in the upcoming time, so you can definitely give me feedback. Coming to today's topic, it is quite favorite of mine. What is DevOps? So the first question that I have at least in my mind is that why should I go for the DevOps? Like, there is tons of technology that is already available in the industry. There is cloud, there is web development, there is front end, there is back end, there is Python, there is AI, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, blockchain, tons of technology. So why should we go for DevOps? So to answer this question, I would like to say, everyone like to hear the numbers, right? Whether the salary is good or not. So I will start with that part. So in the research, it is quite fine that the DevOps engineer used to get 1.5 times salary what the normal engineer used to get. And there is a reason behind that. It's not that, okay, you are a DevOps engineer, so you are going to get the salary what you are expecting. There is a reason, because the word DevOps that you see, dev and ops, developer and operations, earlier, these two terms are quite different. There is a developer team, there is an operations teams. Now with the DevOps, both the developer and operations comes together, and a single person can do both the things. And you can understand that, like, if an engineer is doing the work of two engineers, then they must need to be paid for at least 1.5 times, I must say. So there is a fair deal for the company also and for the employee also, because these both the things can be integrated. So the question is, what is DevOps? So DevOps is a union of people, process, and product. So basically, DevOps is not just a product; it's a collaboration, it's a teamwork. And most of the time, when I heard about the session or people talk about DevOps, the things that they miss is about the culture. So whenever we talk about the DevOps is all about the collaborations, the teamwork, so that the developer, operations, even the security persons come together, sit on a desk, have a pizza together, and discuss about the flow of the project, how the flow is going to be, and how the new updates or new designs comes in our product. Let's say, think about yourself also. You are sitting in a company or in your desk, and someone said that, okay, you have to come up with new features. How are you going to feel it? It is quite boring, right? I am going to think about everything. So to do that, like this culture is come, like companies adopted this culture where they bring all the perspective, the diversity, what we talk about, and with the diversity, the new vision, new innovations comes into the picture. So that's why the DevOps comes. Like DevOps, we said that the teams need to be two pizza team. The meaning behind this is not only about the small team, it's about that every person know each other so that they can able to share their feedback, their opinion openly. And that's the reason behind DevOps being a trendy culture nowadays. Every company wanted to adopt DevOps just not as a tool, but as a culture in their company, so that they can retain their employee, they can make their employee feel like a home. And this is part, like a lot of people used to miss. So I wanted to keep it like explain a little bit more about it. So that is what DevOps is. So now, like till now, you must have understand, okay, what is DevOps? Okay, Saurav, you told about DevOps as a culture, how it can help us in a product or as a company, or how being a DevOps engineer, I can able to provide some fruitfulness to my company. So here is some stat. With DevOps, company are achieving a lot of things, and this is the statistics that Microsoft itself published. You know that DevOps is in Microsoft is in product for quite a lot of time, and the data that they have, it is quite like what they saying themselves internally after adopting DevOps culture. So now, as we see that, like every day we use, like a lot of people, we use Windows or we use Office 365, these tools, right? So we know that like every week or after 2 weeks, there is some patching or security update that used to comes on our Windows laptop, right? Or Windows 10 getting upgraded to Windows 11. Think about it. Like if there is no DevOps, the complete code need to be done again and again. There is no iterative way. Think about it. Is it going to be a feasible way? Not at all. So that's why the DevOps comes into the picture. DevOps provide us with the iterative way, the life cycle that we talk about. In the last slide, we have seen that DevOps, as it's a complete life cycle, from plan and track to develop to build. The complete thing is happened at a DevOps itself. So this makes the life cycle of any new feature release or any product very easy, so that the new feature of adding is quite easy for in the product itself. So now with the DevOps, company are like achieving fast time to market, which means that the new features or new adoptions is become quite applicable into the product. Let's say we've seen the COVID situation, right? And in the COVID situation, we've seen that the applications like the Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams come with a lot of feature to make this virtual thing possible. Think about it. Without DevOps, is it possible that coming up with any new feature or any new solution in that small period of time? It was not at all possible. Apart from the faster time to market, it increased revenue. We know that, like every time we talk about, we say that the any product based company put customer as their customer at the center of any product. So think you as a customer, put yourself as a customer. We are a customer of any product, right? Think about what we want from any company or any product that we are using. We want that the new feature comes very fast. Whatever the feedback that we give, that get added very soon. There is very less time that the company get failed, or very less time that some bug comes into the product. What these things we want from our company, whatever the company we use the product. So these things is completely provided by DevOps itself. DevOps can able to provide. There is the 46 time deployment frequency, which is huge. Think about 2555x faster load time for changes. Let's say now with the DevOps, just with a single code, like with a single click, like we just do the coding part, and the complete pipeline, the complete deployment, complete thing was managed by the DevOps pipeline itself. We don't have to think about anything. We just do our coding, and everything is managed completely there itself. So that is quite a great feature, what we want as a customer, right? And the companies are, because of these benefits, companies are adopting DevOps. And when the companies are adopting DevOps, they need the DevOps engineer. And there we as a DevOps engineer, or the upcoming generation of DevOps, comes into the picture, because the jobs are getting huge. There is a lot of opening for DevOps comes into the picture. This is about so now you have the next question is like, okay, Saurabh, I understand that we require to learn DevOps, or we need a skill DevOps because it is quite trending in the industry. So why Microsoft? Why Microsoft Azure? Why not any other cloud provider? So to answer this, I would like to say Microsoft is in this industry for quite long period of time. When there is no cloud, or where there is no such terms DevOps, Microsoft is doing this internally. We are using Microsoft from like Microsoft Vista or Microsoft 2000, right? And we know that the code, the core code of Microsoft is same for each upgrade. Like even currently we are using Windows 11, Windows 10, but the initial code is still the same. And this was possible because of the DevOps, because of the iterative approach, the agile approach that we talk about, that what DevOps provide, right? We talk about the adding new features, just upgrading to the next level, not just going to vanish everything from scratch and do everything again. So Microsoft is doing this for quite long period of time for their Windows, for their Office 365, and now they come up with their Azure DevOps complete solution. And when I say Azure DevOps, so, and Microsoft is quite open to open source things. We know that the GitHub is there, and the Microsoft whole product is coming up into as an open source. So because of these reasons, Microsoft is quite trending, coming into the trend for DevOps things. So it provides flexibility. When I'm saying flexibility, when it comes to the DevOps, we can able to deploy our application on infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or even in a hybrid cloud environment, or even in a multi-cloud environment also. Like Microsoft even allow you to deploy your complete pipeline into AWS or Google GCP. This type of flexibility is also provided by Microsoft itself. So there comes the Microsoft itself. Then there is, it is quite powerful, because from initial phase of the product development, Microsoft is adopting this cloud native availability, built-in DevOps for continuous innovation part, and scalability and resiliency is already there in Microsoft. We know that there is a complete backend system of Microsoft is already there to deal with this, because they have their product in the market for quite long period of time, whether it's Windows, or whether it's Office, or even now Xbox, and multiple things are coming into the picture. So these things was possible only because of the way Microsoft work in a previous time also. Then there comes the operations part, where like we can able to bring our complete whatever the solution that we have. Like now the question is like, okay, Saurabh, we understand that we need to have DevOps, but what happens if we have some legacy application, the application that is running on our on-prem, so provide you options to bring your own stack. Let's say you work on C++, or you work on Java, or you work on Python. You can able to code in your language itself, even adopting the DevOps itself. So that is quite a thing that what we are looking for, right? That we can able to bring our own solution into the Microsoft, not designing complete thing from scratch again. So that's what we are accepting, and Microsoft provides this. So what else you want? Now, the next question that you can ask with me is sort of, okay, I understand that okay, we need to learn DevOps. We need to, we must choose Microsoft because Microsoft is quite a great experience designing these things. So what all the things that we need to learn before going into the DevOps? So the three things that I must say, the first is continuous integration. And when I'm talking about continuous integration, there comes the development speed or the quality of the product. With continuous integration, we can able to iterate our thing. We can able to like just upgrade our product, not design. This is, I'm saying it repeatedly because it is what it is. So that's why I used to say again and again this. So using Azure Pipeline, we can able to deploy do the complete continuous integration part without any hassle. So this is what continuous integration is, where the complete from changing the code to the deployment part, that is completely managed by the continuous integration. Then comes the continuous deployment. So with the combination of continuous integration and infrastructure as a code, this is what we are going to show in demo also. Then you can able to understand it more thoroughly, like how the thing is happening completely. So we can able to, using continuous integration and infrastructure as a code, we can able to do the continuous deployment. Let's say a small change in the code is going to deploy on our application. This is what we are going to show in our demo also. And you can able to understand we don't need to do anything else. Just do the coding, just make the change and commit the code, and everything is managed. Then comes the continuous, just give me a second. Yeah, then comes the continuous learning and monitoring. So it is quite important that whenever we talk about any new technology, how this technology is going to work in some critical situation. Let's say something goes wrong. Like everyone is there when the good thing is happening with us, right? But what happens if there is something is not going good? That is also applicable on the product in this culture also. There comes the continuous learning and continuous monitoring part. Like using the amazing tool of Microsoft Azure, like Microsoft Application Insight, we can able to get the complete insight on the pipeline, like how the things are happened or what went wrong during the pipeline part. So we can able to roll back the changes, and our end customer is don't face the lot of issues. So to do that, we follow this continuous learning and continuous monitoring part. Coming to the next slide. Okay, so I love questions, so that's why I ask question to myself also, if you guys are not going to ask it. So the next question that you may ask to me is like, okay, Saurav, definitely I understand we need to understand DevOps, we need to adopt DevOps, we choose Microsoft or Microsoft Azure. Tell me about what all the services Microsoft provide for Azure DevOps. So here is a solution. So Microsoft provide with you as Azure boards. That is the first service where we can able to manage our complete product life cycle. It is quite important that who is doing what part. It is need to be, there is some central place where everyone come to know, okay, Saurabh is doing this part, Sneha is doing this part, so that everyone can able to understand, okay. Yeah.
Saurav, can you hear me?
Hello. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Saurav, your voice is breaking in between, and I think some people are saying that the speech speed is also a little fast. So can you look into it, please?
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
Is now audible? Like, am I audible now?
You are audible, but the audio is sometimes breaking in between.
Okay. Okay. Let me control.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
Okay. So the next thing that comes into the picture is, okay, what is Azure DevOps, right? So to answer that part, Azure DevOps is basically a service that used to manage the complete product, where we get a chance to manage our complete product, like the complete life cycle from planning to taking it into the live environment. The complete thing is managed by the Azure DevOps itself. So it is like, you can understand as an alternative of Jira, like most of us are using Jira, right? So, but we do the part of our application in Jira and do the complete product on either any cloud provider, right? So Azure provided the solution that both things need to be integrated together, right? So to do that, there is the Azure DevOps service where Azure board service, where we can able to manage the complete flow of the product. The next, that is very cool service that comes into the picture, which is Azure Pipeline. And Azure Pipeline is for the continuous integration and continuous delivery. What I said earlier, this is used for that. And while using Azure Pipeline, we can able to bring code from any of our like code base, from either C++, Java, Python, any Go, .NET. We can able to use any language based upon our code preference or whatever our product team or our development team are working on. So that solution was provided by Azure Pipeline. The middle service is Azure Repos. Think of it as like a private Git repository, like we use GitHub, right? So Azure Repos is a alternative of that, which provide you private repository. And to do that, they use Azure Repos, where you can able to put your code, and from there only the pipeline used to run. Okay, so there comes the Azure Repos into the picture. The next service is Azure Test Plans. this help us to like exploratory tools, right? To do insight on our build, on our product, like, okay, whether the complete flow, the whatever the pipeline we are running, whether the staging is happening or not, whether the complete the life cycle of the product is working fine or not. So we can able to design dashboard with Azure test plan itself. The next service that comes into the picture is Azure Artifacts. So Azure Artifacts basically, you can understand it's like a repository for your most used code. Like when like we all use C language in our starting of our career, right? C language or any language, and we used to like import the packages, right? Like has include stdio.h, right? So we used to do that. So same thing is provided by Azure Artifact. Let's say there is some code repository that can be a NuGet, npm, or any code base, and we want to like take it into our code. We don't want to like do the complete coding again and again, right? We want to import some functionality which we already coded. So that was possible using Azure Artifacts. Here, I try to explain each and every service in a little bit more depth. So here you can, from the image itself, you can able to see that how the complete service, like the complete product life cycle is got managed, and we can able to track like, okay, which person is doing what work. And from this, we can able to check about the efficiency of each engineer, like whether that person need a little bit of more help or the complete flow is going in a good manner or not. That was completely managed through Azure boards itself. Here we can able to scrum changes, and we can able to get insight on our product. That was completely managed by Azure boards itself. The next service is Azure Pipeline, and here the whole I must say the whole mechanics comes into the picture. Here the complete application got either hosted on Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. So here the continuous integration and continuous deployments happens. And the most useful thing about Azure Pipeline is that it can be like, you can able to use any language. Let's say you can able to bring Node.js, Python, Java, PHP, Ruby, C++, .NET. So you can able to bring code from any language, and you can able to do the complete life cycle of the product. Then comes the like, even we can able to use containers and Kubernetes in our Azure Pipeline while deploying the application. The next thing that we can able to use, like what Azure Pipeline can able to provide you, is that it is open source. When I'm saying open source, it is integrated with open source. We can able to bring code from, not from Azure repos. If we want, we can able to bring code from GitHub also, or Bitbucket also, or from Subversion also. So that type of open source Azure provide, because they want that, okay, your multi-cloud environment or hybrid cloud environment is also possible using Azure. So that type of functionality Azure Pipeline can able to provide. Here is the Azure Repo. It is quite like already explainable, that I said. It is the, like, you can understand it is as like a private Git for your work, where the complete code and everything is got managed. So that is Azure Repo. Here comes the Azure test plan. From the like what type of graph that I said, you can able to hear, you can able to see from the image itself. Like we have the, like, okay, how many build got succeed, what build got failed, and what is the reason behind that. We can able to do it, and that was completely possible using Azure test plan. Okay. So the next service that we use is Azure Artifacts. And when I'm saying Azure Artifacts, as I already explained, it is the repository for our packages, the most used packages, so that we can able to just like call that package inside our code, and we can able to use it. We will be seeing these things in demo part also. Then it will be more understandable at that time. Now the more fun part comes into the picture. Okay, how this pipeline works. So pipeline, using the pipeline, it provides the complete flow of our product lifecycle, from making the changes to do the complete automation on continuous integration, then test the automation. Like, let's say we did some changes in our code, that code need to be changed, like checked before going into the like the deployment part. Otherwise it can create a problem, it can put down the complete product. So to do that, the test part is also automated, and that's the reason, like, that there is no testing engineer required in that part. This can be automated. So that was a quite a helpful thing that Azure Pipeline can able to provide, and because of this, it is getting more adopted. And pipeline create a repeatable, reliable, and incremental improving process. That is what, like, the customer want, right? Customer want that the new features get added very fast. so that the complete thing is not yet managed again, like the complete coding is not done again and again. So that need to be done by automation only, and that what automation Azure DevOps can provide you. Here is just a little bit more about Azure Pipeline. So Azure Pipeline, as you know, that automatically build, test, and test our code and make it available to the user using the Azure deployment. While working with continuous integration, we can able to do with like we can able to choose any language, whether it's Python, whether it's Java, whether it's PHP, Ruby, any language, and it can be deployed on any cloud provider, not only Azure. It can be deployed on Google, AWS. We can able to choose the machine behind it, on which machine, which type of machine our code need to be deployed, whether it's Windows, whether it's Linux, whether it's Mac OS. You must think about it, okay? Like Azure is Microsoft product, Windows is Microsoft product. So why not just deploy it on Windows? Because Microsoft wanted to provide the complete solution to the to our customers, so that they can able to choose, okay, what they want for their product. And as I already said, it can be integrated with GitHub, open source projects also. So that is what make it unique. So here it's a little bit in-depth part. So how the trigger happens, like how the pipeline works. So basically what happens that we set a trigger in our code, and the trigger can be so basically what the trigger can do is basically it whenever there is some changes comes into the picture, right? With changes, the changes create the pipeline itself, and each pipeline have multiple stages. When I'm saying stages, when we go inside this stage, we will see there is some job inside that, and jobs can be dependent on each other also. And then each job has multiple steps, like, okay, you need to install NuGet package, you need to install npm on that, and this was possible using the trigger itself. So we just do the trigger part, and the whole pipeline staging steps, the complete flow is got managed here only. Okay, so this is how the inside the Azure DevOps, how the work happened, and at the end it got published, whether it can be published as an artifact or it can be published as a app itself. Okay, so Mayank, now Mayank is like to take it forward for like just a little bit of tour of Whizlabs product and how it can comes into the picture whenever you want to learn Azure. Then after this, I will be taking forward for the demo part where we see the real fun, like how the things are happening. So Mayank, over to you.
Hi, Mayank, are you there?
Hello everyone, let me share my screen. I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, Mayank.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Mayank. I'm working as Senior Cloud Analyst at Whizlabs. I'm here to represent some of the hands-on lab section which is provided by Whizlabs along with practice test and video lectures. So hope you are aware of this challenge also, which is going on Whizlabs. It's related to hands-on lab. You have to perform some task based on your experience. So let's go to some courses which we are providing. You can see the amount of Azure exams and certifications we are providing for the customers, and other exams also related to DevOps, Jenkins and all, cybersecurity, Java related exams. All Azure means Microsoft 365 Power Platform, Microsoft Dynamics, all those things, IT ops, especially the CompTIA part, CompTIA exam, which is rapidly increasing nowadays. So let's go to the hands-on section. Some of you might be aware of this page. This one is the old page which we have converted now, and this is the new one. This labs. So it has been started since 2 months. We have launched this new portal for hands-on lab. So first you can go to this site and start the labs part. One option is this, and then if you have purchased any of the courses, suppose let me go to AZ400. So if you have purchased practice test or online courses, the hands-on section is provided for free. You can practice as many labs you want to do for learning if you have some questions and all. So especially we have multiple labs related to different exams. So this is for AZ400. If I go AZ, suppose AZ900. So these have labs based on its topics which are going to be covered in the actual exam. So these are the labs. 14 labs we have for AZ900. Similarly for other certifications which are present over here. So one thing, you can start the lab from here also. Both will take you to the same page, same screen. And these are the lab credit points. So you might be having, if you have purchased newly, so you might be having 1000 credit points. And 1 credit point will be deducted if you practice 1 lab. So means 100 labs you can practice, and we have only certification. So from here also we can go to the labs, like I'm selecting Azure, then we'll get multiple labs only related to the Azure. If we select the certifications, we can select based on certification on the labs will be viewed here. So let's, as I have started this one, creating a Linux VM. So let's go. So why Whizlabs? Why anyone has to use Whizlabs Labs part? Because whenever you practice on actual console like Microsoft Console, Azure, or AWS or GCP, you have to pay some charges for using their resources. So that will cost you more. They will ask you for your credit card details and all. But here you don't have to pay anything. You just have to practice based on the instructions provided. This is only the starting page. If I click on the start lab, it will instruct you to proceed with the section. It may take time because it's creating a separate environment for you. This layer has been practiced by multiple customers, so it will take time to create a separate console for it. See, you have given a separate username, password, and resource group, and you just have to follow these instructions. Here, everything is given that you have to start the lab. After starting, you will see these things: username, password. Then you have to open console. It's also given that it is recommended to use the incognito, and then create a VM. And how you have to create each and every configuration details, it is given here. What you have to mention, the name, what permission, what this, now it's asking for the sign in. So you have the username, just copy it and paste it here. password. From here, you don't have to use your own credentials. That will provide. And here you will get a separate console for only for you to practice any of the labs, which you can select from this mail. Okay. Now what you have to do, just follow the instruction, like everything is going to search the virtual machine, create a virtual machine. Let me go through this. Let me show you resource group, which they have mentioned here. This resource group 29654. This has been allotted to you with this subscription. So you don't have to worry, you just have to practice. Let's create virtual machine. Resource group, what name we have to give. These instructions can include the permissions. Suppose we have given the permission to create a VM, but in this, based on our code, we have restricted the permission to delete any VM. Okay, so only those things you can work which are related to this particular topic, creating a Linux VM, creating a virtual machine. Only restricted to those things. Okay. Now, if you see, if I create a VM, there is also a validation screen, validation report, which will guide you that whether you have created all the resources completely or if I have created this only. I go to next, and suppose I leave this screen in between. Suppose I do the logout or I close this window. So all the resources which you have created will be deleted automatically. So this will cost you 2 labs. Nothing will be charged for you. And these hands-on labs are provided free of cost, whether you purchase practice test or any video lectures. And then if you end the lab here, then also it will delete all resources. And as I have cancelled that tab, deleted the tab, then also all the resources will be deleted. Just in this way you can practice. And there are many of the free labs are also provided for each of the courses. If you want to go through them, you can try it out and practice for your particular exam. Okay. Hope you all have enjoyed. Now over to Saurav.
Thank you, Mayank. Let me share my screen again. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Saurav.
Okay, thank you. So now the fun begins. We will going to see like how to do the complete app deployment using CICD pipeline. So let me just go into my console so that we can able to see. Sorry. Just a second. Just a minute. Yeah. So let me take to the Azure portal. So this is the DevOps portal. So like one great thing about Azure is like they wanted to keep their DevOps services away from whatever the normal like other Azure services they have, because they want to do the complete flow of the product in DevOps, like in a DevOps platform. That's why we have Azure DevOps solution here, and other services of DevOps is available on the portal.azure.com. Like here, yeah, here. This is the Azure portal, right? So other services are available here, and only the only the DevOps part is available here. So here is the prod, like here, if I go inside, this is the service that inside which the complete flow is managed. Here you can able to see the services that I talked about, right? That is board, repos, pipeline, test plans, and artifacts. Now let me walk through the creation of the application, and here we can able to see our track record, like how the build was. So like my build was succeeded and everything. So you can able to track these things also. So let's start with the demo part. So I'm using my Microsoft Visual Studio to start with the creating a normal web app. So here, click on create a new project, because we are going to create a new project, right, to deploy it on Azure. Then here, select the ASP.NET Core web app, because we want to deploy a ASP web app. Click on select, give your project a name. So I will give Web Whizlabs app. Cool. I will give this name. And here you can be able to select the framework. So for my, I would going to select .NET 6, because I am selecting the .NET application, right? So the complete framework need to be .NET itself. You can able to select other, as I said, like there is a lot of options that you can able to select. Now it is going to create the project. So till then, we can able to see the services here. So here is what the pipeline, like other Azure services is. We talked about board, we talked about repos, we talked about pipeline, we talked about test artifacts, we talked test plans and artifacts. Till then, we have the applications ready, I guess. Yeah. Now we can able to see that the application is ready. So let me push it to the Azure itself so that we can move it forward. So click on create Git repository. And the best part about Azure is like, because Azure provide the Visual Studio also, so they have already integrated Azure DevOps. Otherwise, you have to put it on GitHub, then go to the cloud provider. But here it is on DevOps is already an option here. So once you select DevOps, you can able to select your Azure Microsoft Azure account that is attached to your profile. Then here it select the organization. So here you can able to see that this is selecting my account itself, the project that I have, and it is giving the project name. So now I'm going to create and push so that this code get pushed into the Azure itself, Azure DevOps itself. Now let me just push the code to the master branch. Now it's pushing the complete package, complete NuGet package. Yeah, now the push is done. Let's see whether the push happen at the Azure is not. So go on to Azure repos. Check here, like we have created this one, right? Web Whizlab, right? Whizapp. So this is what we created. So let's see what this code do. Basically, it's a demo code. What it do is it just print a message saying that welcome. So this is the demo page. What it do? It just going to print this message welcome on the web app. It's going to deploy the packet and complete packet, and it's going to show this matches. So now the code is got pushed. Now we need to create the pipeline, right? So that this code is going to be pushed. So now click on create new pipeline. And here, as I said, like during the presentation, that we can able to select from multiple other Git provider, right? You can able to select Bitbucket, you can select GitHub, so that because Microsoft promote open source. So because of these reasons, we have other options also. But for this demo, we are going to use Azure Repo itself. And we are going to use Web Whizlabs app. And here is the configuration. And as you know that our application is ASP.NET Core, so we are going to use this only. So here is the complete the fun. The fun is happened here. As I said in the presentation, that it created triggers, and triggers happen at the master branch. When there is any change happen at the master branch, it create a trigger, and the complete solution is deployed on Windows machine. Here is the solution that was deployed. that install NuGet package, then it's run the solution on NuGet. And here is the test plan. But for this demo purpose, we are not going to use any testing. So I'm just going to remove it and I'm going to just save and run. So the pipeline start running. Now you can see the job get created, and here the complete, you can able to understand like what happens at the backend. Now the trigger got run and the complete parameter, the job is getting running. So till the job get run, let's go and create a web app, so that because we need to deploy our application, right? And for that reason, we need a solution on which we can able to deploy. So for our demo, we are going to deploy it on web app. I'm just going to click on create web app. I'm going to create a new resource group. Whizlabs demo is my resource group name. And Whizlab apps is already taken. From this, we can able to understand like Whizlab has a lot of users on their platform. So because this name need to be unique, because we are going to access our application from this link itself. Now in the technology stack, we have to select ASP.NET. So I got selected ASP.NET. And just a second. Yeah, go on next. We don't need to change anything here. Here also, everything is fine. Here we are going to of the application inside, because we don't want to log the data, right? We just want to create the application. But for the production application, you definitely want to have your log analytics enabled, so that if there is if something goes wrong, you can able to track it from there itself. Now the application is going to be deployed here. Till then, till the application is getting deployed, let's go back and see. Here you can able to see the job is completed. Okay, the complete job is got run. So let's go back to the pipeline and we can able to see that pipeline is deployed. Now what happens is that now the pipeline is deployed. Now what we want to do, we want to create the artifact from this pipeline so that we can use it as a package in our application, right? I told you that artifact brings the code that we use more often. So this code is going to be same. We're just going to iterate, like add some new feature on top of it. To do that, we want to create the artifact. So to do that, click on edit on our and at the end, we have to add publish build artifacts. Click on add, and the build artifacts part get added. Here we don't want to provide any input. We just want to create the artifact for this, right? So click on save and click on run, so that this will again run the build pipeline. Okay. So now our build pipeline got completed. Now the second thing that we want is release pipeline, right? We want to create the release, right? So here, click on, this is the old release that I have. Click on create release. This is going to create a new release. Okay. Yeah, create new release pipeline. Okay, so where we want to deploy our application. So as I said, we are going to deploy it on Azure Web App, right? So here I'm going to select Azure App Service Deployment, because we are going to deploy our application here itself. Okay. And click on close. Here the stage got created. Now we have to add our artifacts. In the artifacts, here you can also see that we can able to build, we can like install the package from other repos also, like Azure repos or Git, or from our build itself. So what I did, I created the artifact from my build itself. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to select the latest one and click on add. Now the build is got artifact is got created. I need to add couple of things here, that where my application is going to be installed. Okay. So to do that, I need to select my subscription, and here is my subscription. Till the time, let's first see that the application is deployed or not. So here we can able to see the application is already deployed, right? So let me just copy the URL so that I can able to see like how the app is currently looking. I'm just going on incognito and just going to paste the link. And it is the default page for web app that we created, right? Now in our pipeline, we are going to add our web app, right? And click on save. Just commit the changes. Now the solution is got created. Now we have to release it, right? The pipeline got released. Go back to the release page. Okay. There is something went wrong. Let me just create the release pipeline once again. Stage 1. Okay. Let me add the artifacts. Okay. Here I'm selecting my subscription on which the application is going to be deployed. And then I'm going to select my web app. Okay. Click on save. Yeah, the release is done now. Let's see whether the release is happening or not. Yeah, so now release is happening. Just click on release. We can see that the trigger, it got triggered and staging server is running. Now the job is started running. And once the job is got completed, the complete solution, whatever the code that we pushed on Azure DevOps, that is going to be deployed on web app itself. Now you can understand the how much backend process that is happening currently. Now the code that we have deployed on Azure repos, that is going to be taken by our Azure pipeline, and Azure pipeline creates the artifacts with that, and using the artifacts, it's going to create the stage server, and that's going to be deployed on Azure web app, the web app that we shown earlier, right? We have shown here that we created a web app. So that code is going to be deployed on this web app from Azure portal itself. Now you can able to see that it got succeed, right? Let me just go to this page and just a second. This what happened. Yeah. The release what happened. Let me see on the page. Request the changes. I guess like I run the release pipeline twice. Because of that, the application is getting created multiple times. Okay, let me just go back to my older web app so that I can able to show it. Here, resource group. For that purpose only, I already deployed the web app. So once I click on the web app and copied the changes, it's going to deploy the web application like this. So for any purpose, I guess I run that lab multiple times. Because of that, I guess it is not getting deployed on our application for any reason. Let me check once again. Okay.
Saurav, I think some people are suggesting something in the chat box. Can you check it once? In the chat box. They're saying you selected another web app instead of 22.
Okay, I guess so. I did something wrong here. So let me see once. Yeah, okay. So let me just create the pipeline again so that if there is anything went wrong, it will get added. Azure repos. ASP.NET. I'm just going to remove the test part. Yeah, the job is now running. I guess there is some error happened when I push the code. Because of that only error is happening. Okay. Now the job is got initiated. We can able to see that job initiation is done. So now at the backend, it is getting the code from there and installing the NuGet package. And on top of that, it is going to deploy the complete .NET framework that we have for this code. Okay. So this is what happening currently. The NuGet is getting installed. Yeah. So job is now done. So release is currently done. Yeah. So now I'm going to create the artifacts for this. I added the artifact part. Click on save to save the changes and run the pipeline again so that it creates the artifacts. Okay, so now the job is running for the Azure Artifacts part. Now the artifacts keeps on running till then I just delete it. so that it doesn't create any confusion. Okay. I'm just deleting the old artifact so that it doesn't pipeline so that it doesn't create any confusion now. Okay. Now in the pipeline, the job is running. We can able to see that the job is currently running. There is some error happening in the pipeline part. Yeah, it's getting deployed. So basically, it's running the complete new get package to deploy the application, because that need to be installed, right? Like whatever we do, like either we create the VM on top of that, we do these things, right? We run the command to install these packages. On top of that, we do our applications, right? So this is what done automatically. Okay, so let's create the release now. We select ASP.NET application, stage 1. Okay, it's got created. Let me add the artifacts. Okay, it's got added. Let me add the subscriptions. And now I'm releasing the pipeline. Release is created. So let's see whether the release is happening or not. Okay, so release is currently happening. The job is in queue now. So it is the trigger is get created, and now the staging is started. Okay. Till the time we can able to see that how the solution is got installed. It's loading. Yeah, so staging is started. Now the application is getting deployed on web app.
Saurav, I think I would suggest you to check the Zoom chat box once.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some suggestions.
Without using Portal UI. It is mainly the questions, I guess. There is something happening. So let me just show you the application that I ran earlier. So yeah, so let me just show it. So here in my Azure repos, I have already created other repos also for this purpose only. So anything may get wrong in the lab. So here is the demo app. And if you go on to pages, so what I did was I made the changes in that from welcome message to welcome to Whizlabs session on CICD pipeline by Saurav Raghuvanshi. This is what I made the changes. And once I made the changes, what happened is that the trigger got happened, and that was automatic. and the application page that was earlier like welcome is got changed to welcome to Whizlabs session on CICD pipeline by Saurav Raghuvanshi. This is the complete solution got deployed here. So that like now we can able to understand that there is no need that we have to do the complete trigger again and again. Once we just do the code push, and after the code push happens, the complete pipeline runs from scratch again. Okay, and once the pipeline run, it will do the deployment on web app. The complete solution got deployed on web app itself. So that was the overall demo part. There was some error that happens, so I guess we have to check it on, like I will see, and I will add I guess some documentation to like what's the error that happened and how to resolve that on my GitHub itself. So I will add the solution for this, like why this happened and the complete flow, like complete flow, like how this lab need to be done. So I will add a documentation for that also, to those who like don't able to understand this part. So there is some error happened, I guess, at the code build time. There was the code push that happened from the pipeline itself. There is error happened, and because of that, half of the code got pushed. I guess that's the error. So I will do that part. So that was all about the demo parts. Let me just go back to the screen on the presentation part. Okay, let me do it on slideshow. Okay, so like till now we have seen the demo part. Now comes the thing that we all looking for, the prizes, right? We all want something free that got added, or something that that we can able to win, and winning is quite a good thing. So for that reason, we have a quiz. So the quiz have 5 questions, and I guess there is some 5 winners that is going to select it.
Yes, sort of. I think there are some questions in the Q&A section.
Okay.
So let's answer those questions first before we move to the Q&A.
Okay.
Before we move to the quiz part.
Okay.
Yes.
When deploying, I think you're choosing wrong web app. So Vijay, I guess I choose the right one. The problem happened is during the code build itself. So that was the error that I found. Maybe that there is chance that I did something, because there is multiple apps that are running in my account. So there can be chance that I was choosing some wrong app. So that can be a problem, I guess. Thanks for putting it out. I will definitely look to it and provide the solution for it, right? I will add the documentation for this. Could you please check? Web app name is released on web app 22. Yeah, this was the old one. So that I created like for some other purpose. Before the session, like I was just doing like checking the things is happening or not. So I guess that was that time. I think I selected, yeah, I guess a lot of people are saying that I selected the wrong web app, so there can be chance that I did it. So
I think you're checking the chat. There is Q&A section also in the footer.
Okay.
Yes, so there are, I think, some 8 questions there.
Okay.
Yes.
Which services are covered in infrastructure as a code in this course? So for the DevOps, I guess if you're asking for the DevOps part, so basically you have to work on all the services that is used on the application perspective. Whether it's a function like Azure Functions, you must know it. So that is the infrastructure as a code service that most often used in Azure DevOps part. Okay, so like the way we are deploying it on web app, we can able to integrate it with Azure function itself. So the complete code got deployed on Azure Functions, so that from there also we can able to manage the applications. Okay. Is there anything we need to mark the attendance? So I guess you can take this question, Sneha, how to mark the attendance or anything.
That one has been answered.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the prerequisites need to check before implementing CICD? So before implementing the CICD part, I must say you have the fundamentals of Azure DevOps. Like we are just currently we are seeing about the pipeline, but there are other services like the main CI/CD comes into the picture when there is some errors happen, how to go to the logs part, how to see the logs, how to understand the problem. Like currently we face the problem, right? So now the DevOps engineers comes into the picture, like how to see that errors and find out the problem. So that is quite a skill. Like you need to go on monitoring services like Azure Application Insight, Azure Pipeline. There is some other tools that is quite trending nowadays, like Terraforms. So which is quite used with the DevOps, or which quite used with Azure DevOps, like how to build a multi-tier applications. So yeah, there is someone asked like Kubernetes or Terraform covered in Azure DevOps course. Definitely, I guess it will be covered. So at least Terraform will be covered, and Kubernetes is already Azure service, so it is definitely going to be covered in the course. Is Azure DevOps serverless? You can say it because you don't have to manage the infrastructure. So it is a mix of a platform. There is some services that is platform oriented, and some services are serverless. So you can consider in that manner. Without MS Azure portal, can we build the CI/CD pipeline in on-premises infrastructure? Exactly the same stack. Definitely. So CI/CD pipeline is like you need a solution, right? You on the on-prem part, you can deploy your application on on-prem. Let's say you did the pipeline part, and when you're deploying the web app, so what I did, I choose Azure App Service to deploy my application, but you can deploy that application on your on-prem solution also. I hope you like we have like in Azure itself, we know that like Active Directory services that connect on-prem part with the Azure portal. So by using that, you can able to deploy our application on on-prem solution also. But to create the pipeline CI/CD, we must recommend to use any cloud provider, I must say, where the CI/CD is managed. Because what we want that the complete integration is managed, right? That we do the changes, the developer just do the changes, and the deployment happens automatically. So if everything need to be deployed on on-prem solution only, so that is again going to be the hassle, right? NuGet. So basically, what is NuGet? So NuGet is just a package. Here it is used to as the artifacts, right? Because whenever we use any application, like what we do, like in earlier days, we create VM. On VM, we install the Nginx server or NuGet package. So this is like, you can, if you know Nginx, you can understand it as similar way. So it is quite the same thing. Without using portal GUI, can we write in YAML or similar format for the pipeline? Yeah, definitely. So even if you create in the pipeline part also, you have seen that there is a YAML file that got created where it shows that, okay, how to do the trigger part and how to do the application deployment. So that happened, right? So at the backend, it is just a YAML file itself that is doing the complete pipeline part. Okay. So you put the right point. I'm the beginner on DevOps. Is possible? Please elaborate on what stages are in the release pipeline. Okay, stages are like different phases. Let's say like this was a demo, right? So here we don't go on multiple stages, but if you go on a production environment, we just don't do the complete push to the our development environment. We do the testing part, right? Or we do like there is platform just for the testing purpose to see whether the test has happened correctly or not. So we can able to do multiple stages, right? So if I have to show you on the portal itself, so just give me a minute. Yeah. So in the demo itself, if you can able to see that in the release pipelines, the release, yeah. What we can able to do, we can able to select multiple stages. Let's say there is QA, where is the quality assurance happen, and once the quality assurance step is succeed, then only go to the next stage where the complete deployments happen, right? So we can able to manage these parts also from this portal itself, from the complete flow of an application, because you can't just put your complete code on the development part on your production environment and user comes, like let's say like the way we did, right? We did it and there is some error happened. So think about it as a production environment. How many users must have affected with this solution? So this can happen, and because of this purpose only, there is multiple stage like QA stage, then comes the development, there comes the deployment. So there is multiple stages that you can able to decide based upon your severity of your applications, like whether how many users are using that application. So for that purpose, we can able to do that. Can I use DevOps CI/CD to deploy code on on-prem servers? Yeah, definitely. As I said, using Azure CI/CD, Azure Pipeline, you can able to deploy your application on Azure, AWS, GCP, and even on on-prem server also. So that is quite a possible thing. It's a very helpful. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. Is it possible to call another pipeline from current pipeline? Yeah, definitely. So from the current pipeline itself, you can able to, like the way what we did, we create a pipeline and then we created a artifact with that pipeline. So what we are doing, what we are just doing the same part, right? We are just calling the same build that already happened into another artifacts, right? So that is what we are doing every time. Like from one build, we create another build. So that is what every time we do. Please share your YouTube link. Okay, so Sneha, you can able to share this link, I guess.
Yes, and I would like to tell all our attendees that after this session is over, and since there will be a quiz also, we will announce the winners as well as we'll share all the slides with you along with the recording. So don't worry about that. You will have all the details after this webinar. We'll email you with everything. Okay.
Okay.
I think we can start the quiz now. We
Okay.
have answered a lot of questions and I don't see any other open questions right now. So
Okay.
yes, Saurav, please go ahead with the quiz. And
Okay.
since you have mentioned there will be 5 questions and 5 winners,
Yeah.
and all these 5 winners will be getting a free course or video course, free practice test, okay, or a video course from Whizlabs, and they can choose it. You know, it will be completely of their own choice. So, and for the other attendees, we have some special discount coupon codes. So you can, it is there on your screens. If Saurav, you can go to the next slide,
Okay.
please.
Just a second.
Yes, you can copy these codes and make sure you use them within the timeline. You know, these codes will expire. So you can, yeah, you can buy courses and subscription from Whizlabs at a great discount.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess there is coupons and everything. So the top 5 winner will be getting Whizlabs course or practice test, and others can able to grab 40% discount on courses practice test. So okay. Oh, it's my name itself. So I guess okay. So you can able to use that code for your discounts. Okay. So let's go to the fun part. Let's see who understand what and can able to answer most of the question. So the first question is, which of the following is not part of Azure DevOps? Which is not a part of DevOps lifecycle? So now you are going to see the 4 options and you have to answer it. Okay. So these are the options: plan, code, build, operating. So you have to say which is not part of DevOps lifecycle.
I request all the attendees to answer in the Q&A section, not in the chat box, because since these questions are fastest finger first, so we will be able to track who has answered first. So please use the Q&A section, not the chat box. Okay, it's there in the footer of your Zoom screen.
Okay, should we move to the next question?
Let's give some more time for this. I think some people answered in chat box earlier. We'll have 10 to 15 seconds more for this question, and then we'll move to the next one. Please use the Q&A section, not the chat box. You can use a particular format. For example, if it is question 1 you are answering for, you can answer it like question 1A or B. I mean, whatever the option is, so that we can identify which question you are answering for.
Okay, so I guess a lot of people have answered it. Okay, some are still answering. That's good. Should we move to the next question?
Yes, Saurav, we can move.
Okay. Question number 2. Which Azure service deliver value to the user by providing agile tool to plan, track, and discuss work across your teams? So you have to tell about the service which we use, like Azure provide for planning, tracking of your complete product or complete work across your complete team, right? So here are the 4 options: Jira, Azure Board, Azure App Service, Azure Artifacts. I guess this is easy one.
So these questions are fastest finger first based. So make sure you are answering the question first. So you have 3 more chances, and let's see who answers each question first.
Should we move to the next question?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Which of the following language are supported by Azure Pipeline? So you have to tell about the languages that is supported in Azure Pipeline. So here are the options: C++, .NET, Java, or all of the above. I guess we can go to the next question. The 4th question. Which Azure service responsible to provide unlimited code hosted private Git repo and collaborate to build better code with pull request and advanced file management system? So you have to tell about the solution that Azure provide, Azure DevOps provide for the GitHub, right? For the Git purpose. So here are the options: GitHub, Git, Azure Repos, Azure Artifacts. I guess we can go to the next question. This is the last question. Which of the following cloud platform Azure Pipeline used to deploy applications? So you have to answer on which platform, which on cloud platform Azure Pipeline can be used to deploy the application. It is Azure, AWS, on-premises, all of the above. I guess I already answered this question in the chat. So someone asked already, I guess. So this is going to be easier one. Okay. It's quite great.
I think we saw a great participation, and we have a lot of answers in the Q&A section.
Just one thing, Sneha. So the problem got solved. Let me just show to the participants so that So thanks everyone. I guess you are listening, like doing the session quite good because you point out the correct problem. So what I did was I deployed the code on different web apps. So let me just refresh this one. Yeah, here. So you guys were right. I did something wrong and I choose the different web app. So here the code is got deployed. You can able to see like how fast, like how it happens. Like we just have to think about the coding part and the whole solution can able to get deployed on Azure itself. So that is what like the demo part it is. So it was good that the error got solved and you guys have pointed out it. So that is quite a great, I must say. Thanks everyone, those who like pointed out it correctly. So let me just go back to the slide again. Yeah. So that were all the questions that we have. That was the question that we have. And that was, thank you from my side. Sneha, over to you. That was all I had to say about the session.
Thank you so much, Saurav. Yeah, there were some errors in between, but I think at the end we were able to figure it out.
Yeah, and I guess that's what the DevOps engineer need to do. Error can happen anytime, and because of the tools that we have available, I just check the logs and I see that okay, I deployed it on the wrong web app. So that's what we need to know in DevOps, like how we can able to solve these things. So that is also quite a skill we learn now, that we can able to track the errors even in a live session also. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, in fact, we are already getting feedback in the chat box. People are really appreciating the session and they really found it useful. So yeah, it went really well. And regarding the prizes for this quiz, we will announce it first on our social media channels. So you can stay tuned. On Monday, you will see, we'll make a post on our platforms. We are present on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're comfortable with. You can follow us so that you are notified about the post. And regarding the email, I have already mentioned, you'll be emailed with all the details. So now I think it's time to end the session. But before that, let's have a quick picture with all of you, provided you all are comfortable with it. So if you would like to share a frame with Saurav, then please raise your hand. There is a raise hand feature in the footer of your Zoom screen. You can raise your hand and we will add you as panelist so that you can switch on your camera.
I will also post that photograph on my LinkedIn also, and I definitely try to tag all of you guys who will be there on the screen. So
yeah, we'll post this picture as well on social media channels. Someone joined. Those who have joined as panelists now, you can switch on your cameras. It would be nice to see you all. Hello, everyone. I'm also sharing the feedback form. So make sure, I mean, those who have not switched on their cameras, who are not a part of the frame, you can participate in the poll and do let us know your feedback on this session. Okay. We would also like to know what times are comfortable for you so that we can organize sessions accordingly, because since all our attendees are joining from different time zones, different countries. So, we try to keep a mix of time zones. We try to keep some sessions in the morning, some sessions in the evening also, so that everyone gets a chance to attend our sessions. But do let us know according to majority, we can decide for our later sessions. Okay. Is anyone else interested to join the frame? We are still adding more participants. Okay, Kishan, Prudence, Ayush, you can please switch on your videos and we'll click the picture now. Okay, you all can be ready with your best smiles because this will be live on social media. Then you can't come back to me and say we were not given a warning.
Any pose-based photo that we can able to click?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope to see you all in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so make sure you are following us on LinkedIn or on social media channels, so that for every session you get an update. Okay. All right. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.